Hello and welcome once again, everyone. My name is Jason Maraschiello, and today we are talking about values. Now, oftentimes when I am doing a keynote or I'm doing a workshop, I get a little one sheet or an email with the outline of the company's values or the values that they want to instill within that conference, and they ask me to incorporate them in some way to help the staff do more than just memorize them. They want to find ways to instill and hopefully even get their employees to align with the values. Now that's kind of a big ask because values are a very personal thing, and there's a lot of conflict that comes up within organizations without us even realizing that they are value driven. Because it's one thing, we can get assessments done in Myers-Briggs or DISC or all these different assessment styles that will look at our communication styles, our personality styles, and we can use that to kind of communicate our conflict, but that core value of who we are, those are things that are built on a very foundational level. Usually before we are even the age of 10, our values are fairly well solidified within ourselves. And of course we change as we go through life, but those core values, they change very difficultly. And we see that in different cultures and different groups of people, that there tend to be different types of values. And we are becoming more and more multicultural and diverse organizations. So we need to understand these values. So let's kind of dive into it. First of all, a company can't have values. A company is, well, I'm being pedantic, but it's kind of made up. What has values is people. So at some point in time, a person or multiple people said, this is the value, or these are the values that we want to establish our organization. And this is going to be the way that we put ourselves into the world, whether through marketing, PR, or even the kinds of deals and trades that we want to get involved in. So those are our values. They are a very important part of our company culture. Now, what happened was, once upon a time, it was kind of like a mold. These are our values, and if you want to work for our company, you have to learn to adopt our values. But because it's not the same world anymore and things change and the world changes, what we're seeing is that employee retention is kind of plummeting. And this is because these new generations coming into the workforce, they have a slightly different mindset when it comes to values. They're looking for the companies that align with their values. And so because of that, it makes it really challenging to hold that old mindset of this is who we are, this is what we're doing, and you kind of need to align with this. Again, not saying one way is better than the other, but we're seeing some challenges kind of coming from both. So I just want to bring awareness to the importance of values. Now, one person who also did this, and I'm not putting myself in the same category, was a psychologist named Shalom Schwartz. Schwartz came up with a 10 value model, and it talks about some common values that go throughout different cultures, different people, and these can be things like hedonism, universalism. They had tradition. Some people are very much like, yes, this is the way we've always done it, we need to maintain this. And other people are like, no, the world is changing, we need to learn to adapt with it. And that can, again, cause a lot of that internal conflict when you're someone who's been with the company for a long time and you've gotten used to these traditions and these things, the ways that things are done, and yet you get these new generations of people coming in saying, we need to keep up with the times, we need to adapt, this is the way that I see things. Another one throughout different cultures, we get, say, like authority distance. So in certain cultures, it's very normal for different tiers within the organization. So say like the C-suite level, they're getting treated a very different way than the people who are working down here. And they say, yeah, that makes sense. But then there's also cultures that have very short authority distance and say, no, I'm a person too, I need to be treated like it. You need to hear my feedback as much as I need to hear yours. So this is driven a lot by our values. And what we find is when we bring diversity into a company, yes, diversity is great. But there's a little bit of a challenge with our startups with diversity. So when you have, say, a team that you're building with little diversity, you can get productive very quickly. You can understand each other, you can align on things, you can get things done. Whereas when you're starting up teams that have more diversity, it's a little bit more of a slog. You have to learn ways of kind of dealing with each other's, I guess what you would see as isms, ways to, their little quirks. And if we can find the commonalities between our values, that helps to make that production happen faster, because those diverse teams, once they get going, they can bring so much more and they can excel beyond those teams lacking the diversity. So places to start, yes, communication styles are great, personality styles help us understand that we maybe show up with our values differently, but that there are also different values. And maybe it's time we do get a little bit more of that 360 feedback happening, understanding what's important within the organization from the people who are at all levels, and let that inform the company and organizational values. So something to try, explore those values, see if they can help your team. And as always, reach out if you have any questions. Look forward to seeing you next time.